In a small, quiet town, far removed from the chaos of the city, lived a young woman named Sarah. She was a writer, always on the lookout for new stories to tell. Little did she know, one cold October night, she would become the center of a chilling tale that blurred the lines between reality and nightmare. Sarah had just moved into an old, Victorian-style house on the outskirts of town. The house had a rich history, once belonging to a family who mysteriously disappeared in the 1920s. Despite its eerie past, Sarah found the house charming and perfect for her writing needs. One stormy night, as Sarah was working on her latest manuscript, she received a call on her landline. The voice on the other end was faint and distorted, as if coming from a great distance.
Help me.
Startled, Sarah asked who it was, but the line went dead. She shrugged it off as a prank call, but the unease lingered. Over the next few days, the calls became more frequent, each one more desperate and chilling than the last.
Help me. They're coming for me.
Unable to focus on her work, Sarah decided to investigate. She visited the local library and dug through old newspapers, hoping to uncover any information about the previous owners. She learned that the house once belonged to the Miller family, who vanished without a trace one fateful night. The case remained unsolved, with many locals believing the house to be haunted. Determined to find answers, Sarah installed a recorder next to the phone. That night, the call came again. This time, the voice was clearer, filled with terror.
They're here. They're in the house.
Sarah's blood ran cold. She played back the recording, hoping to catch something she missed. To her horror, she heard faint footsteps and a low growl in the background. She realized the voice belonged to a young girl, presumably one of the missing Millers. As the nights wore on, the calls grew more frantic. Sarah began to see fleeting shadows and hear whispers in the halls. One night, she awoke to find the word "help" scrawled on her bedroom mirror in blood-red lipstick. Terrified, Sarah reached out to a local historian, Mr. Jenkins, who specialized in paranormal activity. He agreed to visit the house and investigate. Armed with equipment, they spent the night in the house, hoping to communicate with the spirits. At midnight, the phone rang. Mr. Jenkins answered, his face growing pale as he listened.
Get out. They're coming for you.
Suddenly, the temperature dropped, and an oppressive silence filled the room. Shadows began to coalesce into human shapes, their faces twisted in agony. The room filled with an overwhelming sense of dread. Leave now, Mr. Jenkins whispered urgently. They fled the house, but Sarah couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. She decided to move out the next day, leaving the haunted past behind. Years later, Sarah published a book titled The Midnight Call, detailing her terrifying experience. It became a bestseller, but Sarah never revealed the location of the house, fearing what might happen to anyone who dared to live there. The Midnight Call remains a chilling reminder that some mysteries are better left unsolved. Sarah's story serves as a warning. Be careful where you choose to call home, for you never know what secrets might be lurking in the shadows.